We're doing it.
What's happening?
Wait, are we doing it?
This week on At the Movies, Seth Rogen and Elizabeth Banks starring Kevin Smith's latest comedy, Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
See you tomorrow, Ronnie.
Oh, we've got the exclusive early review of Paul Rudd, Seann William Scott, and Christopher Mintz-Plasse in Role Models. We've got the broadcast premiere of the trailer for Michelle Williams' latest film, Wendy and Lucy.
Going to Alaska.
I'm an actor. Wow, that's really impressive. Thank you. What? Anything I've seen? What movies? Oh, all sorts of movies with all-male casts. All-male casts? I apologize in advance if I am out of line here, but are you in gay porn? Guilty as charged.
Seth Rogen and Elizabeth Banks star in the latest film from the director of Clerks, Chasing Amy, and Dogma. I'm Ben Lyons from E! Entertainment.
And I'm Ben Mankiewicz from Turner Classic Movies. When I told a friend of mine I was off to see Zack and Miri Make a Porno, I was asked, with a significant degree of derision, I might add, "Oh, are you one of those Seth Rogen fans?" Well, I paused and pondered a bit before saying, yes, I am a Seth Rogen fan. And then I saw this movie.
Yeah.
What? You got an idea?
We could make a porno.
If it's so easy, how come everybody doesn't do it?
Because other people have options and dignity, which we do not have, which puts us in an amazingly advantageous position.
I have dignity.
Porn has gone mainstream now. Look at Paris Hilton. Now she's selling fragrances to tweens.
America, yes, I am a fan of Seth Rogen. Rogen plays Zack. His lifelong best friend is Miri, that's Elizabeth Banks. They live together in a totally platonic relationship, but they're also broke. So, as the title suggests, as we would all do, they decide to make a porno.
The ones I liked when I was a kid, it was always a spoof of a popular movie.
I got it!
Star Wars.
What? Han Solo ain't never had no sex with Princess Leia in the Star Wars.
Now, when you consider the title, Zack and Miri Make a Porno, and the writer-director here, Kevin Smith, whose generally funny work is often tempered with an excess of crude vulgarity, I worried Zack and Miri might devolve into a filthy movie, but it's not. It's got considerably more fun than filth. So, really, without any reservations, Ben, I say see it.
Absolutely see it. Kevin Smith, always a very funny voice in comedy, but this one's a little bit different. It's not, like you said, crude and filthy as maybe some of the dialogue in his previous films have been. I love all those previous films.
It's not so much the dialogue, it's literally when he turns to the bathroom humor too consistently. But
yeah, but this has a tenderness to it, and Seth Rogen is so charming, and his relationship with Elizabeth Banks is really beautiful to watch evolve on screen. Very surprised by this because, like you, I kind of imagined that maybe it would kind of spiral into nonsense, and it didn't. You
know, there's some moments like in Dogma and Clerks 2 where it's funny, but then these movies get so gross that I think they certainly lose me, and I think they lose a lot of people. But right at the moment in Zack and Miri where you think it's sort of going to go off that cliff, as you mentioned, we get the tenderness that we saw in Chasing Amy and also in Jersey Girl, another movie of Kevin Smith that I really liked.
We talked about the romantic relationship, if you will, or even the friendship between Elizabeth Banks and Seth Rogen, but it's the supporting characters here that really stand out for me. Justin Long is in one scene that is worth seeing the film alone just for that. And Craig Robinson, who all of a sudden has popped up in all the Judd Apatow films. He's on The Office, and he's great in this. Probably his biggest role on screen is fantastic as well.
Also, Jason Mewes, Jeff Anderson, the Kevin Smith stock company. I thought nice to see those guys back again.
Absolutely. I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, next movie. Ben and I have reviewed and discussed films from the likes of Oliver Stone, Clint Eastwood, Spike Lee, and Jonathan Demme, to name a few. Now, I never thought I'd add Madonna to that list, and I'm not comparing her to the great directors I just mentioned, but after seeing her directorial debut, Filth Wisdom, I'm confident that the Material Girl has more good material for movies ahead of her.
A good stripper can make a lot of dough in just one night. You have the body for it. So dance, sweet baby girl.
You are a vile, disgusting gypsy.
Filth Wisdom tells the story of three flatmates living in London, exploring the underbelly of London's cooler than cool. As expected, the music draws you in, as do the beautifully chic and grungy cast members. Sexually charged but twistedly funny, Filth Wisdom is simple, yet daring and well executed. It's in limited release in theaters, but it's also playing on demand on cable. So however you can, try and see it.
Man, couldn't be more wrong. This is a terrible, terrible, worthless movie that you shouldn't give any time to.
Definitely not worthless.
Worthless, 100%.
Why do you say that?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the title, Filth and Wisdom. It's not filthy. It has spanking in it. It is definitely not filthy, and there is no wisdom whatsoever.
It's not contrived and forced in any way.
It has a Magnum PI, like talking to the camera, sort of a narrator's voice that talks about, yes, within the same life, you could be dirty and you could be clean, you could be bad and you could be evil. Silly, contrived, really felt like a dress rehearsal. It was literally directionless.
Oh, I disagree. I like the fact that she removed herself from it. I could watch this movie and have no idea that Madonna directed it and find myself lost in these London characters.
I wasn't watching anybody direct it. All right, also in theaters this weekend is ironically Guy Ritchie's newest film, RocknRolla, with Gerard Butler, Idris Elba, Tandy Newton, Tom Wilkinson, and Jeremy Piven.
Singer extraordinaire Johnny Quid fell off a boat, they said. Missing, assumed dead, they say.
Johnny?
How many rock stars by the name of Johnny Quid do you think there are in the universe, Mickey?
If he's dead, that's the 3rd time this year.
Rockers like that never die.
We reviewed RocknRolla a few weeks back. It opens in wide release this weekend, and you got to see it.
Yeah, nobody does gangster films better than Guy Ritchie, British gangster films. It's got an all-star cast, but it really comes together. You think, oh, Ludacris and Tom Wilkinson, how's this going to work out? But it does, and Idris Elba's great. The guy's about to be a big star.
I always thought Tom Wilkinson and Ludacris would be great together. I'm glad that finally somebody put him there. Look, I mean, comparing it to Madonna, obviously we're talking about Guy Ritchie. This is a real well-directed film. I mean, you're right. It's similar to his previous efforts, Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
If you're good at it, don't change it up, you know? I mean, he's great at that genre, so I want to see more films like that. It's okay.
And this is the best one. The story's really come together nicely.
Really stylized, great film. Coming up next, Anne Hathaway stars in Passengers.
One by one, they're all disappearing.
And later, Paul Rudd and Seann William Scott might just be the world's worst role models.
Maybe you should think about losing the cape. People tend to avoid people in capes.
They came down on the beach. Just a handful are left. You should handle the whole group.
That crash, it's like being born again.
Passengers is a film new to theaters, therefore it must star Anne Hathaway, who it seems is in every movie. Tell you the truth, though, that's a good thing because she's a great actress. Here playing a therapist assigned to help the few survivors of a plane crash.
When did you first realize that something was wrong?
You have no idea what any of us are going through.
How are you feeling?
I feel great.
Your patients are highly susceptible to external influence right now.
One of those survivors is Patrick Wilson, who you'll recall from Little Children and Lakeview Terrace. Will Hathaway's character cross an ethical line and get involved with Patrick Wilson? But that's not the only question in the movie. Others include what caused the crash, what is the airline trying to hide, and why would you pay $10.50 to go see this film? Don't get me wrong, it's not horrible, but it is dark, depressing, and seems to be built entirely around a twist ending that feels less like a surprise and more like relief. Passengers, not a trip worth taking. Ben, I say skip it.
I agree with you. I say skip it. You mentioned that twist ending. M. Night Shyamalan, this is not. It seems forced, contrived. It is depressing. It is slow. Anne Hathaway, as you said, a great actress and makes it watchable, and you tolerate what's going on screen. But
yeah, and it's it's a character study more than a movie about that plane crash. But it is entirely. It's so dark, in fact, that not just Anne Hathaway, but I think Patrick Wilson, who I think is a pretty good actor. Also, David Morse, Diane Weiss, Andre Braugher. This is I would say an excellent cast, but somehow something never comes up off the screen, and it feels dark, depressing. It rains throughout the entire movie, and that's sort of fitting for the
mood. One of those movies, you don't know where it's taking place, and frankly, you just don't really care. Even though Anne Hathaway is good, it's no reason for me to get really emotionally invested in her quest to help these passengers, and it's about a corporation hiding the truth. That message is really never brought forth for any real reason. At the end of the day, you just find yourself looking at your watch saying, I got to get out of here.
And so do we. Coming up next, Paul Rudd and Seann William Scott are forced to grow up or go to jail in Role Models. We've got an early review.
I already prefer jail.
And later on the show, we've got the trailer for Michelle Williams' latest film, Wendy and Lucy. You'll see it here first.
Destruction of school property, vandalism.
Shut up!
They wanted to give you 30 days in jail.
What?
But I worked my magic on the judge. Instead, you have community service. You're going to Sturdy Wings.
We bring adults and children together to enhance the lives of these children through one-on-one friendships.
I already prefer jail.
Next up is Role Models. It opens next week. This is an early review. Now, my role models growing up, of course, were my parents, a few professional athletes, and filmmakers like Spike Lee and Woody Allen, to name a few. Unfortunately, for the kids of sturdy wings, they are left to seek guidance from the likes of Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott.
Ooh, they got chicken fingers. I'm gonna run a train on these chicken fingers. I'm just gonna be like, yum, 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 yum.
Let me guess, you're not really rolling with the ladies in school, are you, Augie?
Oh, no, I'm really good friends with the school nurse. She's a divorcee.
After an embarrassing run-in with the law, the two are spared a jail sentence in exchange for participating in a mentorship program organized and facilitated by the incredible in everything she does, Jane Lynch, who you will, of course, recognize from the Christopher Guest films and 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Do you think I give it if you guys go to prison, huh? I've been to prison. Oh, I have. I've been to prison. Prison of drugs, alcohol, and sick thoughts. I used to have sick thoughts.
What really makes Role Models connect with its audience is the bond the characters form with their assigned kids, played by rising stars Christopher Mintz-Plasse and Bobby J. Thompson. Thanks to a sprinkling of hilarious one-liners and good old-fashioned raunchy R-rated laughs, Role Models works. Not a game changer like Knocked Up or Superbad, but still a good time at the movies. I say see it. I really had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're agreeing on most things today. I say see it. You mentioned Bobby J. Thompson, one of the kids who's being mentored by Paul Rudd. He's 12 years old. To hear the language that comes out of this kid's mouth, it is literally shocking at first.
But you know, like Zack and Miri make a porno, they're both R-rated, but it's not just shocking language and gross-out jokes. There's a heart to it, and that's what Role Models has as well.
I agree completely. I just mean it's still, you're going to see a 12-year-old use language that you do not expect a 12-year-old to use. Look, the plot here is preposterous. There is no world where you're faced with either jail or a mentorship.
With the kid who plays McLovin from Superbad, who's very different from that movie. This is an entirely new character for Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Yeah, but what makes this work, despite the ridiculous premise, is that it's just flat-out funny. A great scene from Paul Rudd in Starbucks pointing out that the only thing that doesn't mean a large is the large at Starbucks, a venti. It's terrific. And we got to mention Elizabeth Banks, because the jury's out, bang the gavel, it's done. She's terrific. She is, and I mean this in the best possible sense, one of the boys. Will Ferrell, Paul Rudd, Judd Apatow, Steve Carell, and Elizabeth Banks. She's in that club, and she deserves to be.
Holds her own, and it's really cool to see David Wayne directing. He's a writer on this, as well as Paul Rudd. David Wayne, part of the old comedy troupe, The State from MTV, and it's different than the Judd Apatow comedies. I know this is what this looks like from the posters, but this has an entirely different brand of humor, and like I said, it's a really good time at the movies.
All right. There's something about horror films that often leaves me cold, too supernatural, too manipulative, too horrifying to be real. And that's why Splinter was such a pleasant surprise.
Just drive till I say different. This here's dictatorship from here on out. Want to make life easy, don't talk no more.
What's that?
We hit something.
That roadkill is actually the monster, a self-perpetuating porcupine-like parasite that feeds off blood, inhabiting its victims. It's also frightening. And part of the beauty of the terror is it's never fully explained. And the inability of the main characters to understand what on earth is happening to them while they're trapped in a gas station in rural Oklahoma gives this film a terrifying realism.
Move away from the glass. You don't forget.
How did you know that?
I don't think there's anything smart about it.
First-time feature director and co-writer Toby Wilkins lets the terror breathe here. There's very little music, so very little manipulation. It's in limited release now, but it's also available on demand. I like Splinter. I think you should see it.
I like Splinter, too. I just don't have the stomach for horror movies. Life is too short. I have to say, rent it. I agree with you. It's a simple story. Oftentimes, horror films, especially the big franchise movies like Saw or The Hills Have Eyes, they get too complicated for their own good. This is a bunch of people stranded at a gas station, and like you said, they don't really know what's going on, so that creates a really realistic sense of terror and fright, and it's good. It's just nothing really groundbreaking or special about it.
No, I think I agree it's not groundbreaking. What I like about it is it sort of harkens back to horror movies of the 70s. This is not a slasher film.
Definitely not a slasher
This is a
film.
terrifying film, but not a slasher.
Very scary movie, a thriller more than it is really a gross-out movie.
Yeah, I mean, look, don't get us wrong. There's a lot of blood in this movie, but again, it felt the blood didn't feel like we were seeing the gore for gore's sake. It sort of, it had to do with advancing the story because it terrified them. And I thought the cast, Jill Wagner and Paolo Costanzo, who you may recognize from Joey, or you may not recognize from Joey.
Road Trip as well.
Also, Shea Wiggum. I thought they did a really nice job. Grounded in reality, I think a solid movie.
Not cliched at all. Coming up next, it's our DVD Out Now list. Parents, listen up. There's a karate-kicking panda on the loose.
That was awesome!
Let's go again!
Don't worry. Direction is my sixth sense.
Looking at movies out now on DVD, Brendan Fraser goes on a journey to the center of the earth. Abigail Breslin is Kit Kittredge in American Girl. And John Belushi and friends are back in the 30th anniversary edition of Animal House.
Kung Fu Panda karate kicks and chops its way onto DVD on November 9th. DreamWorks animated adventure stars Jack Black as Po the Panda and made big bucks at the box office this summer, as kids and adults couldn't get enough of the Kung Fu classic. Dustin Hoffman, Angelina Jolie, and Lucy Liu round out the cast. For fans of hardcore Kung Fu films, the karate scenes actually hold up with live-action movies of the genre. Hands down, the best animated movie of the year.
John Ford generally considered the greatest director of Westerns and John Wayne the biggest star. But if I've learned anything while working for Turner Classic Movies, it's that the films of director Bud Boetticher and star Randolph Scott at least need to be in that conversation. Now, 5 of those Boetticher-Scott movies are out on DVDs. These are not big-budget movies. They are sparse films, but they are wonderfully grown up, full of the moral ambiguity the genre often lacks. The Bud Boetticher box set will be available on Tuesday, and Kung Fu Panda will be in stores on November 9th.
Want to know what you can't miss this weekend? Well, stay tuned for my 3 to see.
But first, as promised, we have the broadcast debut of the trailer for Michelle Williams' upcoming film, Wendy and Lucy. It'll hit theaters December 10th.
Great dog. What's her name?
Lucy.
You're a sweetheart, Lucy.
Where are you going?
Going to Alaska.
Woohoo! King salmon. You going to work? Can't sleep here, ma'am. You can't sleep out here. It's not allowed.
Okay.
$50. You can pay your fine now, or you can come back for a trial with the judge.
I don't live here. I'm just passing through.
If you get stopped in another state, you're just going to end up right back here.
$100. Be 50 for labor. Tow it over, I guess. That adds another 50.
Who is that?
It's your sister. She broke down in Oregon.
What does she want us to do about it?
No address? No phone either? No, not right now.
You can't get an address without an address. You can't get a job without a job.
I can smell the weakness on you.
Well, I hope it all works out.
Closed captioning for At the Movies is sponsored by...
With kids, teens, pets, and husbands, ever wonder how you can keep your house clean? Call today about our $99 special.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
Hotel provided by Park Hyatt Chicago. Chicago's award-winning hotel and luxury dining experience, located in the heart of Chicago's magnificent mile on Water Tower Square.
Now it's time for 3 to see. These are my picks for the 3 movies that you got to check out this weekend. Not a scary movie for Halloween weekend, but a funny one. Seth Rogen and the hardest working actress of the season, Elizabeth Banks, star as Zack Miri, who, as the title suggests, make a porno.
Yep, liked it. Funny, I agree.
Good to see Mank has a sense of humor. If you haven't seen it by now, you've got to check out my number 2 pick. It's W. It's Oliver Stone's ambitious and creative character study of our current commander-in-chief.
You're 2 for 2. I like that as well.
And at number 1, a film sure to be an Oscar contender for its director, Clint Eastwood, and stars Angelina Jolie and John Malkovich. Changeling features powerful performances, bone-chilling drama and suspense, and the beautiful recreation of an era in American history. It's a film that not only is the best of the weekend, but one of the best of the year so far.
It's good, but calm down. It's not going to win an Oscar. It's not that good. It's not on par with Eastwood's other movies. It's good, and I say see it.
The Academy's going to eat this one up.
I don't think so. Recapping the movies on this week's show, we both say see. Zack and Miri make a porno. We split on Filth and Wisdom. I say skip it. Ben inexplicably says see it.
Sorry, I'll say it proud, buddy.
We both say see Guy Ritchie's RocknRolla. We both say skip Passengers. We both say see Role Models. It opens next week, and we split on Splinter. I say see it, and Ben says rent it.
That's it for now. Remember, we're always online on atthemoviestv.com.
We'll leave you with a look at movies coming up on our next show, but until then, of course, we'll be at the movies.
Launch! We've lost engine 1.
I think someone wants to kill you.
You two do make a charming couple, though.
Streusel? Streusel. If you love streusel, you'll love our coffee cake pancakes covered with streusel and fruit topping. IHOP. Come hungry, leave happy.
Dankeschön.
Gesundheit.
Activon Ultra Strength for powerful pain relief. A convenient applicator means no messy creams. Activon, applied directly where it hurts for joint pain, muscle pain, arthritis, and backache.
Jelly Belly Jelly Beans. 50 true-to-life flavors, each handcrafted with the finest ingredients. Get real. Get Jelly Belly.
If you think a prune is a prune, you haven't tried Sunsweet Ones. How do you like the individual wrappers?
It's not dry at all.
They're delicious.
Sunsweet Ones, bite for bite, even better than fresh fruit.